Okay, picture this. You are here within the international system of states, specifically the United States of America. Each individual state has its own national interest. And national interest effectively means what is in the nation's self-interest in terms of maintaining its independence in the international system of states. So, national interest is what is best for the nation in terms of protecting its physical security and way of life. The President and Congress define the national interest and choose policies overseas that serve the national interest. America has a long fascination and history with isolationism. Isolationism is a foreign policy in which a country keeps out of the affairs of other countries and just keeps to affairs within its own borders. We were isolationists mostly up until World War I. The opposite of isolationism is interventionism. Interventionism means when a country intervenes within the affairs of another country or multiple countries overseas. In terms of the international system of states, certain states tend to increase their power and eventually become superpowers. Under system polarity, there can be one or more superpowers within a given time. Currently, it is theorized that we live in a unipolar system, meaning that there is one dominant superpower within the international system of states. The best example of a bipolar system is the Cold War, an informal war fought between the United States and the Soviet Union following World War II. By bipolar, it just means that two superpowers dominated the international arena for a given time, unlike a unipolar system in which only one superpower dominates the international arena. The Cold War ended with the fall of communism in the Soviet Union in 1991. Not since World War II has the United States fought an all-out conventional war, nor at present does it have the capacity to do so. Since World War II, America has been engaged in a series of unconventional wars, or also known as guerrilla wars. America's military firepower and superpower status is not a large advantage in the so-called unconventional wars of the type taking place in Afghanistan, for instance. The insurgents in Afghanistan employ guerrilla tactics, including hit-and-run attacks, roadside explosive devices, and suicide bombings, as well as the killing and intimidation of civilians who side with the Afghan government. Such tactics are extremely difficult to defend against and virtually impossible to stop by conventional means, even by a superpower. Unlike a conventional war, in which the measures of success are territory gained, casualties inflicted, and combat units destroyed, an unconventional war requires winning the support of the people, or as it is described, winning their hearts and minds. Although the U.S. military has special operation units such as the U.S. Army's Special Forces and provides its regular units with some training in counterinsurgency warfare, the U.S. military, for the most part, is not structured to fight unconventional wars. As a consequence, it had difficulty adapting to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, just as it struggled to adapt to the war in Vietnam 4 decades earlier. It is important to think about the national interest, or what is best for a country to maintain its self-interest and territorial security, in terms of the U.S.'s national interest in combating terrorism at home and overseas. The main question is how to best deal with terrorism and unconventional guerrilla war from the perspective of a superpower such as the United States.